Welcome back to the Coach Cameron podcast. This is episode 562, and it's 9/11. We're going to talk about where I was on 9/11, and we're going to talk about Reggie Cannon and his transfer to Portugal. Good riddance, I say, and MLS expands new academy, and they're going to keep expanding. We're going to talk about that, and $1 million from U.S. Soccer Foundation given to the inner cities to help Black America. But they're not going to go in there. They're not going to do anything. We're going to talk about all this on episode 562. Welcome to the podcast. So where was I? So on 9/11, 2001, I was a PE teacher at Litchfield Elementary, and it happened, obviously, before school, living in Arizona. And it was shocking. And I remember me and my wife were watching. I'm like, we didn't even know how to react or what to do other than go to school. It was just weird to go to school and have that be part of what was going on. And then, but we went to school. I was teaching PE at the time, and we just went on with life. We talked about it, but we went on. But there was always the thought of we should cancel school, kind of stay home, stay safe kind of mentality. Just be close with your loved ones. And then we had soccer practice that night. I was running the Palm Valley Soccer League at the time, and of the league, we had the competitive component called the Arizona Storm, and I was coaching a team, and we still had practice, and we did a mini ceremony. We had candles, and we sang the national anthem, and we sang "God Bless America," and that's how it was. Now, where I live by Luke Air Force Base, and it's heavy military families, and those are kind of the families we were with, and maybe that seems a little overkill, but if you were old enough to remember what happened in 2001, you would do something similar. And it brought the country together. It led us to strange paths of war, but it definitely brought us together, and it was different. But it's different today. We're dealing with COVID-19, and it's all about stay home, stay safe. Do not do the things you want to do in the world, and that's a problem. I mean, we are behaving differently as Americans, and I only see it getting worse and worse, and it's sad to watch how many people want everything shut down, stay home, stay safe. We're all going to die from COVID-19. Mentality is ridiculous. We need to go forward and move on. We have to. The problem we're having now in Arizona, we met all the benchmarks to go back to school. And still, a lot of school districts refuse to open. And for school districts that are opening partially, they're not having their teachers come back. They're calling in sick. Not all of them, but a majority of them, and shutting down schools because they don't want to go back to school because either they're afraid or they're part of this whole crazy agenda to keep everything shut down and destroy the economy. I have no idea. We're at war with ourselves right now. It's strange times in 2020, and we don't get along. And it's a good secret we keep between the left and the right. It's a good secret, especially on the left. They want everything locked down, destroyed, and it's different mentality, and the media is fanning the flames to make you think however you want to think. And a lot of good friends of mine are acting like everything's fine. It's not fine. What we're doing is not fine. And things have to change. But I'm going to move on to my podcast as I wait for the people on the left to let us know we're allowed to go forward. And we're controlled by one entity, not to keep going back to what I'm talking about. We are controlled on our freedoms to live because the left says no. That's what it is. And they will shout you down. They will rip you on social media. They'll tear you a new one because we don't think the way they think. We have to have freedom. Have to. And I don't know why it can't go that way. And the thing is, everyone has a story. Everyone has a family member that, could get sick and all that. We live in a world of could-yas all day long. That's life. We need to go back now. But we're not allowed to because the left says no. That's ridiculous. Anyways, moving on. U.S. Soccer Foundation press release. More than 1 million pledged to create 12 mini pitches honoring black players for change, kickstarting long-term partnership with U.S. Soccer Foundation. Today, Black Players for Change, Musco Lighting, and the U.S. Soccer Foundation announced that community mini pitches will be installed in honor of the founding 12 executive board members of Black Players for Change, BPC. Over the course of the next year, these mini pitches are part of a new long-term partnership between the organizations aimed at removing systemic barriers that keep children of color from playing the game. We are committed to the investment at all levels of the game, especially at the grassroots level. These mini pitches address a real barrier, lack of access to a safe place to play that leaves too many black youth from having a path to build equity in our game, said Quincy Markawa, co-founder and director of relationships and strategic partnership for BPC. Partnering with U.S. Soccer Foundation and Musco is the first step in creating real, tangible assets, investing in local communities to serve as a launching pad for future investments, creating dividends of impact over the long term, concluded Alamarkawa. So this is what we do. We say we want to help grow the game in the inner cities. And we've done this before. We will throw money at it. We'll put fields in the inner cities, and then we'll step away and not participate. Won't grow it within. Very few people actually go in and stay. And that's a problem. It reads, it's important for black children to see people who look like them and who have made it to the highest levels of their careers, said U.S. Soccer Foundation President and CEO Ed Foster Simeon. Children playing on these pitches will be reminded every day that they, too, can succeed in their chosen path, whether that is a professional soccer player, a doctor, or any other chosen career. The U.S. Soccer Foundation is honored to work alongside Black Players for Change to provide more opportunity for youth to play our game. To compete these first 12 mini pitches, the organizations have pledged to raise an investment more than $1.8 million in the project. The first mini pitch location will be announced in the coming weeks. According to the Active Living research, one study found that 70% of African Americans in Hispanic neighborhoods did not have any recreational facilities in comparison, especially in Phoenix, for a long time. They were locked out. And you know what facilities were open in Arizona? Scottsdale, Gilbert, West Phoenix, Avondale, private facilities in West Phoenix. The city of Phoenix had everything shut down, but the rich neighborhoods, the affluent neighborhoods, were open. That's ridiculous. We have more problems than just this, but I don't disagree with their path. It's just putting fields in inner cities, and then what? The mini pitch system modular sport solution helps combat these challenges by providing community members with safer places for free play. The spaces can also be used by local organizations to run highly qualified, quality, free, or low-cost youth soccer programs, including the U.S. Soccer Foundation Soccer for Success program. Now, you see those futsal pitches that are going all over. The ones in Arizona, the ones in Phoenix, those mini pitches, they're run by the city. The city of Phoenix is notorious, and I'm sure like any other city that you're from, when the government's involved in soccer, for whatever reason, it fails miserably. You know what else fails at it is the YMCA, the Boys and Girls Club. They are horrible at their jobs. When it comes to soccer, they do good in basketball. They do good in t-ball and the mainstream sports, but they don't do soccer. Has never done it well. Even City of Phoenix has done so poorly, they even gave it away and say, hey, SC Del Sol, you can have it. They're like, oh, we'll take it. They took it, and then they threw it away because there wasn't money. They wanted the facilities for their tournaments to make money, but they didn't want to deal with the kids in the inner city. That's SC Del Sol for you. Each athlete will visit his hometown community for grand opening of the mini pitch and will help elevate Black voices in the community. Images of prominent Black athletes will surround the mini pitch. The U.S. Soccer Foundation has a long history of engaging youth of color to deliver positive outcomes through sports. 48% of participants in the Soccer for Success program are Hispanic and 34% are African American. Surveys show that 88% of participants of the Soccer for Success program work better on a team. 86% avoid antisocial behavior, and 83% have improved health outcomes. U.S. Soccer Foundation surveys also show that communities benefit from the creation of mini pitch. 98% say that people in the community are more active, and 98% say that their community feels safer. The 12 mini pitches are made possible thanks to the significant investment by Musco Lighting. Musco has been involved in providing structural support for lighting systems for the more than 40 years and has partnered in projects with the U.S. Soccer Foundation for more than 20 years. They have worked with the foundation to develop the structure for the mini pitch system, installing and refining the system over the past 2 years. It includes state-of-the-art LED lighting technology, fencing, goals, lockable storage, and ADA compliance access. On average, the lighted mini pitches allow the near 3 additional hours to play in a day. We believe very strongly in the mission of empowering youth to underserved communities with opportunities to come together, grow, develop essential life skills, and have fun in safe, well-lit, high-quality environment, said Jeff Rogers, Vice President of Development Sales at Musco. That exactly what Black Players for Change and the U.S. Soccer Foundation has dedicated themselves to with this initiative, and we couldn't be more prouder to be a part of it. So here's my thoughts on it. They're going to go put these down. They're going to put money into it. They're going to give facilities, which is good. We need as much facilities as possible in as many communities as possible. But there's no follow-through. There'd be like, okay, city, Parks and Rec, good luck. You can have this. Do your program. And they're going to only think about it of how they can make money on it so they can grow what they're doing, their Parks and Rec. And they're not going to pay attention to it. There should be a caveat that before they put it in, it can't be with this Parks and Rec. Parks and Rec are notorious for turnover. It needs to go into a inner city soccer club or through a state association with follow through. If like our state association has a director of coaching, the director of coaching at ASA in Arizona needs to focus, number one, on development in inner city. Number one. That's what they should do. Instead of hiring more and more staff. It's no different than a failed school district where we keep giving money to schools, but the schools don't get the money. Like the teachers don't get the money into the classroom. We don't get higher paid teachers. We get higher paid administrators. Administrators are the death nail to any organization. They can either invest into what really matters, which is grassroots work, or they can keep adding administration to lessen their burden of actually doing work. But they're not going to do that. They just want an easier life. And that's the life we live, right? Everyone's looking for an easy way out. No one's willing to put their shoulder to the wheel and get to work. We're missing that. Matter of fact, after this podcast, I'm going to take my son, who's actually due to be back online in 12 minutes in his school. Once he finishes for his lunch break, I'm going to go make him do like 20 push-ups, run outside in the Arizona heat, and do a little suffrage. Our children need to suffer. Can't be comfortable. And that's the other thing with, everyone's like inner city, they're struggling. They need more. They need more opportunity. They don't need to be spoon-fed every little thing. Part of life, if you can struggle and overcome, you're going to be a superhuman. You're going to be a rock star. That's why, in rich economic families that kids are given everything, they're horrible human beings. If you have money, don't give your kid a car. If you have money, don't give your kid anything. Let them earn it themselves. It's easy for me to say because I can't give my kids anything because I'm broke. But there's just a different way of doing things. But if we're going to do this, there needs to be a caveat that they have to have oversight. They need data coming back. They're just going to throw things out. Look what we did. This is what we do in America nonstop. We throw money at it in hopes change is going to happen, and nothing changes. On to other news. Reggie Cannon hates America. FC Dallas transfer Reggie Cannon to Portugal's Boavista FC. What? Is that like big time or something? FC Dallas announces on Wednesday that the club has transferred right back Reggie Cannon to the Portuguese First Division side Boa Vista FC, giving the U.S. men's national team defender a chance to continue his progression in Europe. The fee is reported to be around $3 million and come after MLSsoccer.com. Tom Bogert's report last week. The deal was in place to send the 22-year-old to the Primeira Liga side. Is there a difference between the Primeira League and the MLS? Is that a stepping stone? I don't think so. I'd rather play in the MLS than play in the Liga or the Primeira. I won't want to play in Portugal. I think he's running because he got a lot of flack for being a moron. Calling us stupid for not supporting it. Like we're ignorant fools not supporting you. Cannon signed a homegrown player deal with FC Dallas ahead of the 2017 campaign, then burst onto the scene in 2018 upon seizing a starting role. He departs MLS with 2 goals and 5 assists in 67 matches, continuing his linear progression after spending the 2016 season for the NCAA Division I program UCLA. Cannon carved out a greater U.S. men's national team role under head coach Greg Berhalter. Ooh, Greg Berhalter. He wants Reggie Cannon because he can play the system of possession in the back. Good job. Earning 11 caps to date alongside Serginho Dest and Antonio Robinson. He's one of several young Americans outside backs now competing in Europe's top leagues. It's not a top league. Dest is playing with Ajax. That's legit. Robinson's playing for Fulham. That's legit. But Cannon's going to Portugal. Let me tell you a story about Portugal. So when I was playing for the Arizona Sand Sharks, we had 15 different countries represented on that team, and we were decent, not great, and our coach at the time was constantly looking for more talent. He brought Ecuadorians in, and then he brought a player named Bobo. Bobo came in. He was the Portugal Player of the Year. He played in the World Cup, and he's legit. And he came in, and he struggled. He could not play indoor soccer. Indoor soccer is a different animal. You got to be quick, technical. You can't be some captain, center back. It's all, you have to be a goal scorer, midfielder. Indoor's just different. He couldn't survive. But Bobo is hilarious. So Bobo struggled. He knew he struggled, and he came in and brought, because we didn't speak Portuguese and he didn't speak English, and he came with his yearbook showing all the pictures of what he did and all this stuff, and legit resume, crazy legit. I mean, the indoor back in 1997 when I played, it's pretty big. We were on national television. Crowds were huge. Out of the CISL, it was pretty amazing. A lot of talented players came in internationally. I mean, we had a stacked team on paper, if you just want to talk about it, not including me. I survived because I was crazy fast and I ran forever, and I could score. But if you never played indoor soccer before and you weren't used to it, you had a hard time dealing with it. It's just not a game you want to enter from the outside. It's a different game. So anyways, he comes in and he has these shin guards, and they were huge. They covered they're like fiberglass custom fit around his leg, and it went around his whole lower leg. And I'm like, he was like, looked like RoboCop. I couldn't play with those things. Those things were huge. They were huge. But anyways, Portuguese, Player of the Year, couldn't play indoor soccer. It wasn't technical enough. I don't think much about that league. I don't watch it. Not many people do, except probably the locals and the ones trying to recruit from there. So maybe that's a stepping stone for Cannon to go from there to get sold again into a real team. But our national team, we're excited about that. I'm not excited about that. How's that going to help us? There's no difference. I think Cannon is running because he cannot get the American people to think how he wants to think, so he's leaving. Good riddance. Goodbye, my friend. I hope you have a wonderful career out there and don't come back. And when Berhalter gets fired, and he'd be fired by now if they were allowed to play, the next coach isn't bringing you back. I wouldn't. Not at all. I don't want you ever wearing the American flag. I don't want you representing our country. I want you to stay out. Stay away, my friend. Stay away. MLS Academy. So see if I can get that in. The MLS expands new academy structure. They're going to keep expanding their structure because it's all about dollars and cents and what they can unify together collectively to be able to sell players. That's how I see it now. But there's zero change in development of any kind. There's no difference. So yesterday I was out watching an ECNL team play a MLS academy team. It's bad. It's bad. If you're going to take that name, MLS, you better be amazing. And they're not. They're not. I saw a lot of white kids playing, and they're not good enough. And we need to change our structure, completely change our structure to gymnastics. So here's a gymnastics schedule. So this is what I say you need to survive in soccer if you just aren't technical and you love basketball, football, and you kind of like soccer because you're kind of good at it and you're hiding from the athletes, so you go to soccer. You're not good enough. They should create rules like this. Here is a schedule for gymnastics. So the Twisters USA Elite Program training schedule from 4 to 8. They'll train 1 hour on the bars, 1 hour on the beam, 30-minute vault, 30-minute tumbling, 30-minute floor dance, 30-minute conditioning. That's a lot. That's a training schedule. 30.5 hours per week. That's what you have to do, DA or MLS Academy kids that suck. If you're going to be MLS Academy and you're going to be the future of soccer, you better put more time into it. There's so many kids I saw yesterday that should be banned from the soccer field and get to a gymnastics training schedule where it's 1 hour on the ball, 1 hour in 1v1s, 30 minutes passing, receiving under pressure, 30 minutes of finishing, 30 minutes of receiving the ball out of the air, 30 minutes. I mean, just every flipping day because you're not good enough. And add 30 minutes of watching soccer on TV and 30 minutes of really understanding the game and studying the game of every system out there. You need so much more than what you're producing. And it's a numbers game. The fact that you're 16, 17-year-old, I'm watching 16, 17-year-olds play, some 18-year-olds. I'm watching them play, and they can't trap the ball under pressure. They can't read the game at all. I mean, they're just out there like robots. I'm here. I'm just trying to be part of something. Okay, fine. But you put the MLS Academy on you, and you suck, and you lose a ball in a 1v1 situation. That's garbage. That's not fun. It was ugly. It's not pretty. And that's American soccer. They just want it. They just give it to them. If you get it, give it to them, then, and only then, they will be okay with it and won't burn down the town and become an Antifa member. Because if you don't give it to them, they will burn down California. Yeah, so there's rumors of Antifa is the cause of the California fires. The fact that I just said that right now, this video is going to get no hit because YouTube doesn't circulate people that say stuff like that. Conspiracy man. So be it. But that's what's happening. The news is not going to tell you, but if you actually searched and looked, you'd find it. And I apologize for this conspiracy episode, but it does matter. Everything else I said. I'm glad Reggie's out of the country. Bye, Reggie. See ya. And I'm glad there's money going into the inner cities. That's awesome. We need to follow through. And MLS academies that can't play. What's up, Jet? They need to train like a gymnast. See you guys tomorrow. No, Monday. Peace.